In February 2015, Category 5 Cyclone Marcia crossed the coast north of Yeppoon. In its wake, a trail of destruction was left in the Fitzroy Basin, particularly to those in the farming and grazing community.
This event was at least a metre higher than 2013. As you can see, we've probably had a metre of water come through with debris and taking out our fence posts and our yards here, and fencing is the biggest thing. It's just kilometres and kilometres of fencing that we've lost. There's about 75,000 acres here. Both sides of the river is fenced all the way through. You'd have to be 40, 50 kilometres of fencing that we have to re-erect. I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime.
Well, as you can see with the ute, we've had at least 4 foot come through. The last 3 we've had come through have been roughly about knee height. Nothing too major, taken some fences out and odd pumps. But this time we've lost every irrigation pump along the road, close to 20 kilometres of fencing. 100 steers have disappeared. A lot of fast water come through from the Bell and then the Callide. Callide was the highest it had come through ever. No warning, just bang, it was here. Very fast water. As you can see, we've got lots of Lakina still. It's above the water line, but our grass is just gone. It's all silted over, and it'd have to be close to 800 acres of grass that we can't use. I suppose we don't have any cattle because they're gone too. The last flood, we lost a motorbike and pumps. This flood, we've lost vehicles, tractors, irrigators, the lot. Yeah. A couple of months ago, finally finished fencing a lot of the country down the bottom so we could use it, and we never got to use it. So the fences are gone before we put stock back in there. And that was from the last flood. We got holes down there that you could park that truck in, down on the Callide. We normally do 0 till and just direct sow straight back in and get going again, but this time to get rid of the silt, we'll have to turn it over and work it with the tractors.
We haven't yet found a rain gauge that was big enough to measure the rain, so the intense amount of quick rainfall is something that obviously has caused a lot of damage, and damage worse than what I've seen at home before. Every flood you get a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser, and we have definitely prepared better this time than we have in the past. The speed the water was going was something that we haven't seen here before. Majority of the damage would have come from obviously the Callide Dam issue. 2/3 of the creeks are protected by fencing so that cattle can't erode it. I'm just thinking of the number of fences like this one that's protecting cattle out of the creek. The erosion from upstream has been massive, and when you look up around Billawheel, it's been huge. What weeds are going to turn up afterwards is another question, so that's going to be another issue going forward, is controlling the weed growth.
We planted this paddock here to mung beans. Prices are around about $1,200 a tonne at the moment. We're thinking that would be great. We're just getting over the 2013 floods. And where we're standing here now, the water's up to here. You can see by the fence line behind you. This has been covered in silt, and we won't be able to get onto this for weeks now. So we've lost probably about $250,000 worth of mung beans. We as farmers, we do controlled traffic and no-till operation to conserve our topsoils. We've done that here. There's absolutely no topsoil here whatsoever. It's all been taken, and as you can see by the holes, I'll step down into here now, just to give you an idea of the depth of the topsoil that we've lost. We're very fortunate in this area that there's about 15 feet of topsoil here. We've lost all our microbes out of the soil. We've lost the goodness that we use to grow our plants with, so it'll take probably 2 or 3 years to recover from this. We replaced a levee bank that was washed out in 2012. We went a metre high and it still came over the levee bank. The Don River has been fenced off. Probably 80% to 90% of it's been fenced off in this area here to keep the cattle off the river. And as you can see, there's no erosion on the banks, but there's plenty of erosion in the paddock behind you. They say it's a 1 in 100 year, I'd say it's 1 in a 200 or 300 year.
We've copped pretty much close to the eye. The cyclones come through here, we've copped pretty much the full force of it. Sheds, you can rebuild sheds. Pineapples is a 2-year crop. We've got plants that look like they've had a scrub pull and chain pulled over top of them. Not only are we dealing with the damage to the crop that we're harvesting now, the May, June, the winter crop is a total write-off. The spring crop, we're not sure how it's going to turn out yet, but the plants aren't in very good condition. So, and then we go right into the summer crop, and then next year's stuff too. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainties at the moment. From what I've seen, we've got some fairly severe erosion. coming out of a lot of our big blocks. Major silting, some pretty severe washouts.
So all this silt here is from that major washout up through there. The bank on this road has pulled it up a fair bit. Some of it has jumped and gone down to the next sand pit that we have silt traps all around our property.
We're all here, no one got hurt. House is still here, we've still got a dry bed. It took a day to cut our way back out to the road basically, because just the access into the farm, there's some monstrous trees across the road. Since then it's been trying to save fallen trees. We're leaving them in the down position rather than pulling them back up, because holding them back up, if something goes wrong, they fall over the other way and they're dead. So we've been through quite a few gallons of white house-based paint mixed up with a bit of copper to coat those branches to stop them getting sunburnt. I don't know how many hundred trees we've lost, and there's still trees that are in severe stressed situation. We've lost the rest of this year's crops. So, very conservatively, there's about $300,000 worth of fruit laying around the ground. About 3 hectares of net that's destroyed, and my brother has a couple of hectares as well that's gone right next door. It's double the job of building a new net from scratch. And we've lost quite a number of lychee trees, just clean blown out of the ground. And they were younger trees of newer varieties which are high priced. We've lost some avocado trees, and we've lost probably about 10 kilometres of fencing. So we do a lot of fencing around the farm, up and down gully lines. We provide our own water which comes from bores and dams around the farm. And most of the pump sheds have blown apart. Inside the pump sheds were the electronics to control the pumps and the little computers. We have thousands of windbreak trees that I planted 30 odd years ago to give protection to the fruit trees, and they've done a magnificent job of that over the years, but now they're all smashed and crashed and laying in the fruit trees, and it takes years to grow windbreaks. They don't grow in 5 minutes, so the long-term production will be down.
The producers in this video are meeting or exceeding best management practices. Cyclone Marcia has caused extensive damage throughout the Fitzroy catchment, and any government assistance would be greatly appreciated.